All right, fam. Well, the undefeated season ends. Um, I'm doing the emergency episode right now because I don't want people to get too down on what just happened. You're not going to go 17 and 0, okay? You knew one of these games was going to end up being a loss. I did not think it'd be this one, but in the end, everything that could, it was one of those games where everything went wrong. Everything went wrong, unforced errors, referees were horrible, and we still could have won in the end. So let's break it down. As as all these games go, by the way, tonight we got to break out the Hennessy. When stuff like this goes down, you got to break out the Hennessy to make you feel better. So the turnovers, most important statistic in NFL is turnovers, and we had three of them. Actually, four, I guess, on the last play of the game that was meaningless. But let's break down the three. So Hurts throws a ball on the double coverage for AJ Brown. That ball was closer than people thought. That was almost in AJ's hand and slipped out, and the guy grabbed it. So, I mean, do you throw in double coverage? You're taking a chance with AJ Brown. I'm okay with that interception. I really thought that wasn't really his fault. He took a shot with AJ Brown, this superstar receiver, and it was a great throw. It was right there, but guy made a great play. Um, the Goddard, obviously, that turnover shouldn't even freaking count because he had his face mask ripped off. And of course, you can't, even on the review, they can't reverse that on review. So, because it was not to the penalty. And then you got Quez Watkins. If he doesn't fall when he's making that catch and just catches it in stride, it's a touchdown. But of course, instinct is he gets back up because he wasn't touched. And then you can't afford to turn that ball over. That's on Quez Watkins 100%. But a perfect throw from Jalen Hurts. So turnovers, they just kill. They just absolutely kill you. But again, the referee, and then of course, you got to talk about the Brandon Graham penalty at the end. By the letter of the law, that is a penalty. He kneeled down, and there was like a couple seconds went by, and then Graham hits him. But again, if you're a referee in that situation, you cannot make that call. You have to have some situational awareness of what the game means or what the play means, and then it costs you the game. You're ending the game by making that call on a very, very ticky-tack because Brandon Graham holds up. He hits him, which he shouldn't have, but he almost pushes him with his hands, and Taylor Henneke totally flopped. So you just can't make the Redskins or whatever Commanders cannot get that call on the road. You don't get that call on the road in the NFL. So that's what bothered me the most. By the letter of the law, yeah, fine, but you shouldn't get a close call like that. Number one, that would decide the game, and number two, when you're on the road. Absolute horrible officiating on that front. And then, of course, the Dallas Goddard face mask was really a game-changing play because they were on about the 40-yard line, their own 40. It was 23-21. If you call that face mask, you're giving the Eagles 15 yards into Washington territory, and it's 23-21 with all the momentum in the world. So, listen, everything that could have gone wrong tonight went wrong. It happens. We're 8-1. We're in good shape. Obviously, I thought we'd be 9-0 at this point. But remember, keep the eye on the prize here. What we need to do is we got to get to 14-3. Right here, 14-3. We get there, and I guarantee all of you, we will get the one seed, even though Minnesota pulled off that miracle yesterday at Buffalo, which I did not think that was going to happen at all. So we just need to get Minnesota to 3 losses and get Dallas to 4 losses. I still maintain the Giants are not going to be there at the end. So here's our remaining schedule. At the Colts, you got to rebound this Sunday. You can't lose 2 in a row or else things get dicey real quick. So you win on the road, take care of business in Indianapolis. Then we come home for Green Bay. It still makes me a little skittish with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's always dangerous, extremely dangerous. But given Green Bay's situation, they pulled one out for us yesterday. They probably did not have business winning that game. But, hey, they pulled it out for us and stole it. So that was huge in knocking Dallas down to 6-3. So, all right, get Green Bay then coming here. You got to win that one too. Okay, so you win that one, and then you're 10-1. Okay, then the next two become critical here. Titans at home, then at the Giants. You just got to split these. And I know now, we can't afford to lose both of them because at 4 losses, if we finish with 4 losses at 13-4, it's not guaranteed that we get that 1 seed at that point. Things become a lot dicier. But we are safe. If we finish the season with 3 losses, we're safe for the 1 seed, I'm telling you. So split the Titans Giants games. Doesn't matter which one we win, but just win one of them. Then at the Bears, you got to take care of business against the Bears team that's okay at best. We can still lose the game in Dallas and then take care of business at home against the Saints and Giants. We're 14-3. We get the 1 seed. And here's why. So Minnesota's 8-1. They're tied with us. And we just need to get them to 3 losses because then we'd have the tiebreaker over them and we get the 1 seed. So I'm going to rattle you off the Vikings' remaining schedule. Interestingly, this weekend, Dallas at Minnesota. As crazy as this sounds, I really think we got to root for Dallas. I know it's tough to stomach, but I really do believe that Minnesota has got to lose this game to Dallas. It is more preferable for Minnesota to lose and get them in 2 losses because here's their remaining schedule after Dallas. They're home for the Patriots, home for the Jets, and maybe they could split one of those two, but the Vikings are good at home. Then they're at the Lions. Maybe, I guess, but the Lions, I don't think they're good enough to beat the Vikings. Then they're home for the Colts, home for the Giants. Maybe the Giants could pull one out, but then the Vikings are at the Packers and at the Bears. So there's a lot of stumbling blocks there, but their schedule, because we need them to accumulate at least 2 more losses, I think you got to root for them to lose to Dallas on Sunday. Because again, Dallas already has 3 losses. We just need to lose one more game so that there's no tiebreaker situation with them. And since we would be, in theory, if we lose to them, then we have a split. And it becomes more complicated, especially because we just lost to Washington. That's a division loss. So the next tiebreaker after head-to-head with Dallas, if we're tied with them, is division. So you don't want to get into a situation where we're tied with Dallas at the end of the year and you're start breaking down tiebreakers, assuming we lose the game in Dallas. Dallas' schedule is at Minnesota, home for the Giants, home for the Colts, home for the Texans, at the Jaguars, home for the Eagles, at the Titans, at Washington. Really in there, they're only going to be underdogs at Minnesota, at the Titans. I really can't see them being underdogs in any other game. So we really want to put all our marbles in the game at the Titans? I don't think so. And I even though Dallas always underachieves, they are, in my mind, still the second most talented team in the NFC. And we don't want to go to Dallas. And obviously we got to win the division to get home playoff games because I don't like the Eagles' chances playing road playoff games. You got to get the 1 seed for the Eagles. So that's why, on balance, the game Dallas at Minnesota this weekend, even with Dallas's really easy schedule, you got to figure they're going to lose one more game. So I think, on balance, you got to root for Dallas to beat Minnesota on Sunday. It's a really close call because I don't think Dallas's schedule is very difficult, but I do think that they are going to lose one more game, even if it's not this weekend. Their schedule, it's an easier schedule, but I think on balance, that's what you got to root for. Again, I know I'm ignoring the Giants. They're 7-2, 1 game behind us, but I cannot accept that the Giants are even remotely as talented as the Eagles. They're just not. The game in New York is going to be a very tough game, though. They're probably going to move that to prime time. But in the end, the Eagles will throttle the Giants in Philadelphia. The question will be, can the Eagles also beat them there in a tough environment with the Giants with this little cupcake schedule that they have been running through and pulling games out of their butt? So anyway, that's where I'm at. I know that Dallas at Minnesota game it looms large. So, but regardless, at least one of them is going to lose. So that's where we're at. It was a tough one tonight, though, obviously. But I think as long as we can split the Titans Giants games, take care of business in the other ones, we are still okay. And all of us would have taken 8-1 if that had been offered to us before the season started. 8-1 at the just over halfway point. You can't ask for anything better than that. We got the best record in the NFL, and with a tiebreaker over Minnesota. And you have a Buffalo team that, you know, they have now lost at home to the Vikings, lost at the Jets, at the Dolphins. The Chiefs lost at the Colts. So every team is going to have a game where something goes wrong or everything goes wrong, like it happened tonight. Bottom line is, short week. We got to hit the road again, but it's almost probably good to get the taste out of your mouth as soon as possible. I don't think anybody was hurt significantly tonight. I know Goddard and Kelsey kind of hobbled a little bit. Same thing with Devontae and AJ, but it just seemed like they finished the game. They seemed to be okay. So we'll find out more there. So tough loss tonight, but again, everybody is don't listen to WIP. Don't read the papers because it's always going to be exaggerated, doom and gloom now because we had one bad loss. But division games are hard. We shouldn't have lost tonight, but it happens. We're 8-1. We're ahead in the division, and we get the tiebreaker over the Vikings. So I'll come back with some more later on after the game against the Colts. But win that one, and everything's going to be okay, fam. All right. The Vegas Eagles out.